All right, good evening, everyone. It is 6:01 p.m. and we are ready for our board meeting for September 16th, 2021. I would like to call the meeting of the Board of Education of Harrison School District 2 to order. Has everyone had a chance to review the agenda?
Yes.
Ms. Pugh, if you'll give us a roll call.
Regina English, absent.
She is absent.
Linda Pugh, here. Steve Siebert,
Here?
Corey Williams,
Here.
Naisha Ali,
Here.
Elijah Moya,
Ex-
absent.
Excused.
And there's, I believe, an announcement to make. You do not have that under call to order?
No, it is not, no. I appreciate you. Norma, can I get a refresh on, on my board docs?
Sorry, mine's not a touchscreen.
No, you're all right. Yeah, my call to order is different.
There it is.
Oh, there we go. Well, it just came up. There we go. I'm just going to read this from Ms. Pugh's computer. Mine's being a little funky right now. All right. Members of the public who desire to address the board of any topic related to board work must sign the roster before 6:30 p.m. Speakers must limit their remarks to not more than 3 minutes and appoint a spokesperson if the concern is a group concern. Personal attacks will not be allowed. Focus on an individual will end a speaker's comment time period. The board will not respond to any public comment. We will review the information presented and provide responses as needed at a later time. All right, this evening we have the following students from Monterey Elementary. They will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and we will read the mission, and they will read the mission statement. We have Miss Abriella Andrews, Antarius Davis, Joseph Vargas, Ramaya Vargas, Christian Andrews, Ana Lucia Maldonado, Santiago Maladano, Lalia Maladano, Giovanni Escalante, Connor Escalante, Isabella Blackmore, Gianna Cuones, Romario Melgoza, Jair Guadarrama. Did I say that right, young man? Guadarrama? All right. Marlena Lopez, Romeo Lopez, Casey Weems, Kasai. I appreciate that, thank you. And Kanessa Weems. Kanisa. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you all very much. All right, item number 3, adopt the agenda. It is now 6:06. The board will function as a single union, and I will just need a motion.
I move to approve the agenda as stated.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Pugh, second by Mr. Siebert. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We now have a meeting. Item number 4, showcasing schools. R-1, academic performance. Students will achieve at least 1 year's academic gain each year, with students performing below expectations progressing at a great rate. R-2, personal development and success. Students will acquire the developmental skills necessary to lead healthy, satisfying, and productive lives. 4.1, Monterey Elementary. We have Miss Erica Tunson as the principal and Miss Renee Dahl, the assistant principal. It's good to see you all today.
Nice to see you. Okay, so as we were introduced, I am Erica Tunson, the principal since 2020. What a year to decide to become a principal. I'm the principal since 2020. I spent 5 years there as the assistant principal. This is year number 26 for me in Harrison.
And I am Renee Dahl, the assistant principal. This is my second year as the assistant principal. Again, 2020, wow, what a way to come in. This is my 5th year at Monterey and my 23rd year at the district.
We are Harrison. Okay, sorry.
Hello and welcome to Monterey. Come in, come in. Let me show you. Hi Joseph, how are you? I'm doing good. How can I help you? Can we have a visitor's card for someone to show you around the school? Someone to show you around the school? Okay. Since she is from the district, we don't need to wrap her in, so I'll just write you out a visitor's card. Okay? Okay. All right. We don't have to go. Take this. This is how people know who you are and what you do. We don't have to go. Welcome to our house. Welcome to my house. About anywhere from years. Good morning, Miss St. Pete. Good morning, Hi, Ms. Robinson. Follow me. You gotta stay. You're known for both of those down Monterey. There's a more specials out. Great, let's go. This is what we do on Tuesday
Wednesday. For the rest of this holiday, we need break. But you guys did not come to see them. Comes 4 times a week, and where the rest of us have music class on Thursdays and Fridays. Some classes even learn to play the ukulele. It is really tough being glad to have our new friends. Music and videos of the program.
It's time to say goodbye. Time to learn.
It's my house.
So thank you. Before we move on with the rest of our presentation, thank you so much to our communication department. Angela Van shot that video for us, and it came out wonderful. Thank you so much.
Like we said, we are Harrison, and Monterey's priorities are the same as the district's. Priority 1, classroom. Priority 2, culture. And priority 3, community. So here's a little clip. You'll notice we'll have that through.
I like our teacher because she's really, really nice. And I like about Monterey is that there's a lot of people you can make friends with.
And these are newest to us, a couple kindergartners, but they really just love everything.
Everything about Monterey. So our wonderful staff, we are down to 12 classroom teachers right now, many of who are here. We could not do this without them. So this year we added 3 new members. We have a new coach. We added a new position of reading interventionist, and we have a new PE teacher. So our students, Monterey serves approximately, as of today, 249 students in grades K-5, with about 89% of our kids receiving free and reduced lunch so far. We're working on our Fed forms. Monterey is a neighborhood school and serves a really large culturally diverse population. About 18.2% of our students are identified as NEP or LEP and are receiving services for ELL services. And we also have a large contingent of students that we've had since kindergarten that are now monitor year students. 65% Hispanic, and you can see the breakdown of everybody else there. So here's how we're doing. These are our COVID CMAS scores. And in 3rd grade, we managed to have some of our students, about 13%, but we're really proud of what we did in 5th grade ELA. During a year in a pandemic, we managed to grow more than we have in 5 years in 5th grade ELA. Also in 4th grade math, we've got some work to do. So, we also have been reducing the number of students with a significant reading deficiency. Since our team began there, when I started with Kelly Moore in 15-16, we have taken that number down every year, with an increase last year due to the pandemic. Each year we set a goal to reduce it by 50%, and we usually meet or exceed that goal. Oh, whoops, I'm pushing one thing. So here's another thing that we're doing well. When we made our presentation, we didn't have our growth scores yet, but our wonderful CLDE department went ahead and tried to figure it out on their own, and they were very close because our exceptional growth was at a 65, and we had a baseline MGP of 46. We did have 62% of our students are on track for their language proficiency. We're down from the previous 2 years ago from 82%, so not bad for a year during a pandemic. So our Ready scores, we measured, we had a lot of growth, not as much achievement, which leads us to what we do well. We can grow students. They will grow a year or more when they're with us, according to our medium growth percentile. And for access, for math, we meet or exceed the state. We reduce the number of students with a significant reading disorder deficiency, but we are struggling with achievement. We need to continue working so that the way we grow kids and how they achieve are the same. So our action plan is focused on increasing that student achievement this year.
So one thing about Monterey is that we really like to pick a word and go with it for the year. So this year our word is focus, and we're going to focus on instruction and learning, focusing on collaboration and connection, and focus on community. So based on our data, we have a key action that we are committed to meeting the academic needs of all of our students. So we're going to improve our Tier 1 instruction in ELA and math. And in order to do that, we'll be using instructional audits. We're implementing learning intentions, success criteria, and feedback in our school. And we started this process a couple years ago with a book study. And then last year we had a cohort of teachers that tried it and we're implementing it in the classroom. And we've learned from their mistakes and what works, what doesn't work. And so this year, everyone, all the classroom teachers will be implementing it. And then based on that, we'll use data from our audits, our observation, any student data that we have to provide professional development for our teachers so that we can really be focused on Tier 1 instruction and improving that. So our next priority, culture.
The teachers are nice, and I also like, because they teach me what I need to be taught, I like the students too. They are really nice, and Monterey is also really great because of our positive behavior system and / rocks. I like rocks because it means responsible, responsible, organized, cooperative, kind, and safe. Yeah.
All right, so one thing that we believe that helps with contributes to our culture is our PBIS system, our positive behavioral intervention and support system. And it really reinforces positive behavior of students. We reward students for demonstrating positive behaviors, and then it also really motivates students to positively participate in the classroom and school-wide. So we also have SEL, social emotional learning. Each classroom begins the day with 15 minutes of social emotional learning, and it really is a time to build class culture. It allows students to build trust with their classmates as well as their teacher. And one thing that we're doing this year is incorporating our PBIS expectations in that, which is ROCKS, which you'll hear a little bit more about at the end. To help with our culture, we also have several clubs and extended learning opportunities at Monterey. In the past, we haven't quite started, but we have Battle of the Books. We have the conservatory coming to our school 4 days a week. We have Girls on the Run, and then Yes Club through the Catamount Institute.
So this year, another way that we are really building our culture is working with our teachers with distributive leadership, giving them voice. Last year, our hashtag was empower. We were really trying to empower our teachers to become academic leaders in their classroom and make the decisions we hired them to make. So they really ran with #Power and Empower. So this year, with Focus and Empower behind us, we have 2 committees. When you have a small staff, it makes it really nice to have one can be on each committee. So we have a building leadership team with a grade level representative and a school literacy team with a grade level representative. So each person in our building has voice in decisions we make school-wide. Also, the district has given us those opportunities for distributive leadership with the facilitator roles, data coach, GT coordinator. So everybody's getting a chance to have a voice in what we do at the district level as well as at our school level. Our teachers have the opportunity to lead and participate in differentiated professional development so they get what meets their needs. And they're also allowed to start building that leadership capacity by leading some of the sessions. And this year we are committed to giving even more voice to our teachers by making our professional learning communities in which we really look over data and make decisions for what's best for our students. Those will be teacher-led. So that's our key action 2. We are going to a teacher-led PLC system. We've created a rubric. We're introducing some each semester, each quarter, so that teachers are taking on the roles. Today was a great day. We had teacher-led PLC and we had some great conversations, but this will really ensure equity for all of our students. So, all of this culture building leads to our staff retention. We retained 94% of our staff at the end of last year. The 3 that we did lose were personal situations, not because we didn't have good culture. So we do believe that our PBIS system, we have a very low referral suspension rate. Our distributive leadership, giving teachers voice. We have staff recognition. We're clear communicators. They get a weekly newsletter, the Monterey Momentum, where we also shout out staff members. We've been doing a weekly culture survey. We're getting ready to start that again this year, where we give it to 5 staff members, from teachers down to nutrition services, paras, so that we can get a handle on some issues before they become big issues to help maintain a positive culture. And we like to play games. If you notice in the corner, we are Waldo. That turned into a whole staff and kid game where we were looking for hidden objects, the adults were, but we like to do bingo, play games, scavenger hunts. We like to come out and celebrate our teachers as much as possible. So we have a woohoo wagon comes out, brings them treats, but we appreciate all they do for us, so we want to make sure that we let them know on a regular basis. So, one of our newest programs this year is a combination of music and PE called Drumtastic. We got several donations, so that'll lead us into our community partnerships.
All right, so we have, like Ms. Sensen said, we have a lot of partnerships, community partnerships. One is Because I Love You. They have been to our school. They remodeled our teacher's lounge, I think in 2019. And so it's just a really nice space, calming space to go eat lunch. Then they have, on City Serve Day, they planted flowers to kind of give us some curb appeal outside of our building. And then they write nice notes like, "We appreciate you," to our staff. And they also supported us when it was our 50th, when Monterey's 50th anniversary of its opening. So they really came in and helped us do some activities and plan for that. We have the Colorado Springs Conservatory. People come 4 times a week and work with 4th and 5th grade students, select in the morning. So in the morning you can hear the drums playing or some theater happening, singing. It's a really great partnership we have with them. Girls on the Run, it just is for girls to learn about wellness and healthy lifestyle. And then at the end they do a lesson and then they have a 5K run. We also have Yes Club, which is science-based exploration, and they go on field trips and they do some fun activities in the classroom as a club. We have had the Organized General Motorcycle Club get Thanksgiving baskets for our families at Thanksgiving time, about 40. They've been doing that for 3 years. We also have outside our school, you can see a local artist worked with some of our students, and we painted the storm drains outside of our school and on Monterey Road. We have Junior Achievement, JA in a day, and so that's K5, and it's just a fun day for kids to learn about business. And we also have Delta Sigma Theta sorority. They came last year during Black History Month and donated activity books to us. Jack and Jill gave us a donation so that we could stock up our uniform closet since we are a uniform school. We have the Lynx that came and they provided us with books for students to take home to read, and also provided a donation for us to have welcome bags for any new students that come to Monterey. Again, shoes that fit. They brought 40 pairs of shoes were donated, and one of the cool things is that they fitted all of our Girls on the Run team members with a pair of running shoes.
So our last action is communication. We've really been working on communicating, probably over-communicating with our parents. Some of them in the audience, they received a dojo message. We really noticed last year during COVID that we needed to keep in touch different ways. We've been using the platform of Class Dojo. We have probably 99% of our parents connected through Class Dojo, so teachers can message them. Renee and I we take turns sending out a weekly administrator's message. Teachers are now sending out the peak of the week, so they go through and tell what's coming up, any great things that have happened in the class in the past week. We're keeping our website up to date, and we have pledged to be on Facebook at least once a week with some kind of activity or pictures. So last year was a really hard time for us connecting with our families. We did connect through Dojo, but with family nights and not being able to have them in the school, we did a lot of virtual family nights so that we could still connect, and we got to see kids in their home environments. That was fun. Last year we did personal tours for kindergarten roundup. So we started meeting parents before the school year began. We brought them in, gave them tours. We had a little bit of a Western theme. I love the theme. So we have Mrs. Salas dressed as a cowboy as we rounded up kindergartners. So that's just a little bit about our wonderful school. Some other things that make it special is we have 3 alumni that work at our school. One of which I was her 2nd grade teacher, Strutmore Hills. So that's what makes it great. Our students, our families, we're really working to continue to be just a magnificent school in the Pikes Peak Park area. So with that, we're going to leave you with what everybody knows us for. We're going to rock it out. Are we ready, Mustangs? Yeah. Here we go. Monterey rocks, rocks, rocks. Monterey rocks, rocks, rocks. We are responsible, organized, cooperative, kind, and safe. Monterey rocks!
Yes, indeed. Monterey rocks. That is amazing. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Tunson, Ms. Dahl, it's good to see you guys. It's been quite some time since we've seen you all. It's just great to see kids. We haven't had children in here in a year and a half now. It's been incredible. I want to thank all the parents who came out to support the babies today. And I want to thank the rest of your staff for coming out, all you teachers who impact these students every day. And I know we have a lot of you guys here tonight. I have some certificates for all the students. And so I will call those names out again and have you all come up to get them. Or actually, we're going to try to stick to our time, so I will give you those certificates.
In the morning.
I appreciate you guys so much. Mr. Seaver, do you have anything to add?
You know, nothing pertinent, but I do have just a little connection. There's always a disconnect sometimes between the board and maybe a misconception, misperception of the boards. My brother went to Monterey Elementary, and I was a little older when we came, so certainly the neighborhood. And Ms. Tunson taught my children when they were younger. So I have a mask that hides all the gray, so that's good for both of us. But I love those connections. I'm so excited about what's happening at Monterey. I'm very optimistic and very excited. Great to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're not. Got a large population today, folks. We're going to be doing a switcheroo for you guys.
You're right. It's absolutely amazing having kids back in the building.
Greatness, y'all. Getting in all the parents.
Yes.
All the parents.
Yes.
All right, the time is now 6:35 p.m. We're going to move on to item number 5, matters reserved for board action. GC1, the Board of Education of Harrison School District 2 represents, leads, and serves the district's owners according to Colorado Constitution, Section 9, and holds itself accountable to them by committing to act in their best interest and by ensuring that all board and district action is consistent with law and the board's policies according to Colorado revised statutes. Item 5.1, Armed Security Guard, the Vanguard School, Dr. Claudio.
Yes, sir. Mr. President, members of the board, This is being brought to your attention because it wasn't part of the Vanguard's charter school original agreement, and so they have provided all of the documentation necessary to have a armed security guard at their site, and so they've provided the insurance documentation, the MOU for the individual, and the post-certification, and so they're bringing it for your attention and your support.
All right, and we have had time to review those documents. And so for item 5.2, I would just need a motion.
I move that we support the decision of Vanguard School Board of Directors to have an armed security guard on their campus.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Siebert, second by Mrs. Pugh. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 The ayes have it. Moving on to item 5.3, renaming of Mount Vista Homeschool Academy. Dr. Claudio?
Yes, sir, and we could get Mrs. Padilla to come up to the front. As you know, Mrs. Padilla has done a fantastic job with the homeschool academy, the Mountain Vista Homeschool Academy, and really her vision for the school has changed that school tremendously, and we've provided her additional support because of all the work that she's doing. And the board approved the renaming of the school for Thrive Homeschool Academy. And so, Mrs. Padilla, if you can just talk for a couple of minutes, all the great things that you're doing with the additional space over at Chamberlain.
Absolutely. As you know, as the district was making announcements last spring about some of the things that were going to be changing and evolving in how they were managing schools and making decisions moving forward, it became clear that I needed to make some decisions about how I was going to manage growth, particularly with older students. We needed more space, so I worked with Dr. Claudio and the technology department to obtain a space, and we're going to have some construction taking place to expand our music space and our technology class space, because we need to open up space for a culinary arts teacher who started this year, and we have a burgeoning culinary arts program. The kids are super excited. I can't believe how much they've done in just the first few weeks. So it's part of a 3-year plan of, starting to add in non-traditional academic opportunities for our high school students who are not necessarily targeted for Pikes Peak Community College, which had been, in previous years, had been the draw for the high school community. As part of, thinking about making these changes, and, in previous years, the district, asking, have you thought about changing the name? We held on tight to it because we thought our name was, that's what was known in the homeschool community. I believe now we've made a name for ourselves because of our staff, and it's a good time for us to just really be more targeted and strategic in our name and what that represents about who we are and how we make decisions. And so I enlisted the help of a company, Design Rangers, which the district has used previously for smaller campaigns, but also they've worked with the Humane Society and the Catamount Institute, and they really matched my vision of what I was looking for with the school. So we worked with them over the summer, had very intensive conversations with the school board, some staff and parents about defining our school, and we landed on Thrive. And I feel like it says a lot about what we try to help students do at our school, our community. And so I'm grateful that you guys, you did approve, right?
We're going to do
Oh,
that.
you're gonna,
You'll see that in
okay,
just a
well,
second.
I'm hoping that you will see that it's a good move for the school, because it does say something about who we are rather than just a building that we're in, and no longer have a confusion from parents about Mountain Vista being used in 2 different buildings. So, thank you. Do you guys have any questions?
I do not have any
Okay.
questions for you. Just a congratulations on all the good work that you've done.
Thank you.
I've never heard a negative thing about you or the programs that you've had going on. You guys have always done such a good job at helping our homeschool students. You guys really have thrived.
I feel that way
And you've
too.
owned that. So I think the name is befitting of you.
Thank you.
You really have done that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Padilla.
Okay.
Moving on to item 5.4, and I would just need a motion.
I move that we support changing of the name of Mountain Vista Homeschool Academy to Thrive Homeschool Academy.
There's only 3 of us, so second.
Motion by Mrs. Pugh, second by Mr. Siebert. All of those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Ms. Padilla, you are now the principal of the Thrive Homeschool Academy. I have to get used to that because it's been Mount Vista, but you are now the principal of Thrive Homeschool Academy. Congratulations. All right, moving on to item number 6, public comment. The board will initiate and maintain constructive two-way dialogue with students, staff, parents, and citizens as a means to engage all stakeholders in the work of the board and the district. This was said once before, and so you guys will hear it once more. Members of the public who desire to address the board on any topic related to board work are welcome to do so at this time. Speakers must limit their remarks to not more than 3 minutes and appoint a spokesperson if the concern is a group concern. Personal attacks will not be allowed. Focus on individual will end a speaker's comment time period. The board will not respond to any public comment. We will review the information presented and provide responses as needed at a later time. If you have any documentation that you want to give us, you would give them to Ms. Norma Arambide. She is sitting over to my left, your right. First up, Ms. Suzanne Whited. Dr. Claudia, if you could assist her, please.
I'm gonna get on the short side. Oh, yeah, if you guys wanna hear me.
And ma'am, if you could just state your name and your address, and then your 3 minutes will start.
Okay, my name is Susan Whited.
All right.
I'm at 538 Seton Avenue. I have a daughter who goes to Strathmore Hills Elementary, and last year, I kept her home from school for my safety and willingly homeschooled her, which was an absolutely horrible experience, which I don't really blame you guys. You guys did the best you can. You didn't know what was happening, and it is what it is. But I was so impressed all of last year at how well I thought District 2 was trying to take care of their children. They had to wear masks. You guys sent home more notifications than anybody could possibly use about free food, which wasn't right for me, but I know is so right for so many people in our school district. And I appreciated it, even though that wasn't something that I needed. And for 3 weeks this summer, I was able to send my daughter to summer school so she could get used to going back to the classroom for 4th grade. And a few days before school started, I got an email saying that you no longer cared about my child and masks did not need to be worn. For a 9-year-old child who could not be vaccinated. I called my superintendent's office and said, hey, what's going on here? My child can't be vaccinated. Why aren't you requiring masks? And they kept telling me, we are encouraging vaccinations. Well, yeah, that works in the high schools and half of the children in the middle schools, but not a single elementary child is old enough to be vaccinated at this point. So I kept on until the glorious day I got the letter saying you guys had finally mandated masks. Now, when I spoke to the superintendent's office, I asked them, can't we compromise? And excuse me if I have the wrong number, because I just counted it on the website. You have 13 elementary schools, which is what I told him. And why can't you give us one where my child has to wear a mask so that I'm not the one penalized homeschooling that child. Of course, I didn't know they had this other homeschool program. That might have been better than what you guys did last year. But the idea that you guys are still sitting there saying, we don't know how long this is going to happen. There is not going to be a single elementary child in your district fully vaccinated before Christmas. It's not going to happen.
You have 30 seconds.
You guys need to step up and say, we are going to give you at least one school where you can feel safe sending your child. And the gentleman tried to tell me, well, we can't do it in different districts, which is a lie, because my child went to a long school year for 2 years while you guys tested whether or not that improved their grades. And it obviously worked, and I don't mind sending my child there. But I want a safe place, and I guarantee my child has a safe place.
Thank you, Ms. Wyden. Your information has been taken, it's been recorded, and we will get back to you with more information. I appreciate you for coming out tonight. You be safe on the way home. Thank you. Next up, Ms. Ramora Madrid. How are you this evening, ma'am?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. If I could just get your name and address, and then your 3 minutes will begin.
My name is Ramona Madrid. My address is
Ramona, I'm sorry for that.
Ramona. I go by Mona.
Okay.
My address is 2530 Clarendon Drive, 80916 is my zip
We're
code.
neighbors.
Oh, are we? Oh, okay. Nice to meet you. I am here to present a complaint against Anitra Gallegos, who is a principal at
Please.
Panorama Middle School.
I'm sorry, I can't take any names.
Okay,
You could use the school,
okay,
but do not say the name.
okay.
Okay.
I was hired back July 2020 as a secretary. And from first day on, a lot of verbal abuse was directed toward me. And I was bullied. I feared her. I was cursed at. I was yelled at on a daily basis. I feared taking action toward her, although I did. I believe back September, I did file a grievance, and then I stopped it because I feared retaliation. Well, the abuse continued. I filed a grievance against her in June, now 2021, and because of the grievance, she retaliated toward me and terminated me. But because of the grievance, I feel like that was a wrongful termination. And I just feel like it is so wrong, not only because of the foul language she used towards me, but also because of several teachers who left the school due to the foul language she used on them also every day. I know I have a lot to say, and I'm limited toward my timing, but I guess in the end, I would like to, if I have to, speak with one of you personally for a further report of what has taken place while I was employed at Panorama Middle School. And ending with that, I would like to see if I can be reinstated at a different location, because I classified
You
this
have
as a
30
wrongful
seconds.
termination. I have support for you that I'd like to give to you. I don't have enough
You can give that
copies.
to Ms. Arambide.
Excuse me?
No, to your right there. There you go.
Thank you. If you have more, yes. Thank you.
Not only has foul language been used by this one particular person, but by other staff, and I will let you know right now that there's another staff member who is employed with Panorama Middle School and has cursed as well, and I did inform the person.
Your time is up.
So I just thank you, excuse me, thank you for the opportunity for letting me speak.
Yes, ma'am. I
Have a good-
appreciate you coming to see us this evening. Ms. Madrid, you be safe, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Ms. Joyce Salazar. How are you this evening, ma'am?
Good, how are you?
It's good to see you. How are you today?
My name is Joyce Salazar. I live at 3310 Kirkwood Drive, Colorado Springs, Colorado, 80916. So I wear, as many of you guys know, I wear many different hats in the community. I've lived in the community for over 30 years. I'm also running for Harrison School Board this November, so you'll see my name on the ballot. But today I'm here because I wanted to give you guys an update and an invitation for tomorrow's event at Panorama Park. So many of your students, 11 of them to be exact, have worked on several different projects at the park, including the Skatable Youth Area, a mural art project, and then a boulder project. So over the summer, they did a bouldering workshop where they learned how to climb a boulder, and they designed a boulder, and tomorrow at 11 a.m., the boulder will be delivered to the park. It's an 11-foot boulder, and it will have to be craned in. So my invitation to you and to the superintendent is to let me know if you guys are available to come out at 11 o'clock tomorrow, so that I can make arrangements for you guys to be there.
Well, Ms. Salazar, I actually gave bouldering a try this past summer and still have my shoes and am available tomorrow, so I will see you tomorrow.
Awesome. You know where it's at, right? 4250 Fenton Road.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome.
Now, I don't know if these two will join me.
Okay, from what I hear, the media should be out there, so if you can't make it, that's fine. You should be able to see us on the news at 5 and 10.
All right.
So that's all I had. Thank you.
Well, Ms. Salazar, it is good to see you once more. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for coming to see us, and be safe on your way home tonight.
Thank you.
All right. I have a M.G. Peterson. A Mr. or Mrs. Peterson. Okay, there we go.
Hi.
Hey.
There's a group of us out there.
All right, you'll just start with your name and address, and then your 3 minutes will begin.
Thank you.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
Angie Peterson, 4570 Old Farm Circle West. And I'm a parent and stakeholder in District 2. District 2 needs to be about its mission of educating and graduating students with the knowledge, skills, attendance, and behaviors to
attitudes, and behaviors to personally succeed and contribute to the common good. The journey forward to accomplish this mission does not include imposing destructive, failed, and potentially lethal measures to control COVID-19. The identification of the Delta variant of COVID-19 has presented an excellent opportunity for us to recognize the counterfactual information that has been on repeat since March of 2020. The difference between March of 2020 and today is that we are much better informed people. It is well documented that COVID-19 cannot be annihilated, let alone controlled by masks, social distancing, excessive quarantine procedures, lockdowns, and shots. I quote Dr. Dan Stock when I say, the natural history of all respiratory viruses is that they circulate all year long, waiting for immune system to get sick through the winter or become deranged, as has happened with these shots, and then they cause symptomatic disease because they cannot be filtered out and they have animal reservoirs. Please recognize this very important point. No one can make this virus go away, end quote. Canceling parent choice and mandating masks is a step backwards and sets counterfactual measures and information as guiding principles for our district. Journeying down this destructive path devalues students and stakeholders. Living through the application of counterfactual measures, we have learned the following. While masks serve no level of protection, scientific studies show they lower oxygen levels in the blood while raising carbon dioxide levels, affect respiratory physiology function, actually trap exhaled viral pathogens, which increases the severity of viral load. They collect and colonize viruses and bacteria and are dangerous for those with asthma or other respiratory issues. Masks impose physical, psychological, and emotional harm. This is especially true for children. Masks are inhibitors to children's healthy social and verbal development. Youth are not super spreaders of the virus, and the majority do not get an acute case. And severe COVID restrictions increase suicide rates among high school students. The journey forward to educating and graduating students that contribute to the common good must include the clear demonstration of relying upon stakeholders to make wise individual choices. By imposing mandates, the district is showing it does not respect and does not trust its stakeholders to make those wise choices, especially parent stakeholders. That message halts our journey forward. I thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Well, thank you, Ms. Peterson, for your information. You be safe this evening.
Thank you.
Norma, just a question for you. Will Mr. and Mrs. Lutz be coming in at the same time, or will they be separate?
I would-
It's the same topic, it should be one person.
It should be one if they're speaking about
They
the
are
same
two,
thing.
it looks like it's two topics. Separate. They will be, okay. All right, Mr. Lutz is first. Mr. Warren Lutz, how are you this evening, sir?
Doing good.
All right, I'll just have you state your name. You'll
I'm
state your
Warren Lutz.
address.
I'm a local resident and taxpayer.
You'll state your
Thank you very much for
address as well, sir.
giving me this opportunity.
You'll state your address and then your...
1209 Antrim Loop.
Thank you, sir. Now you may begin.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity. I wish I could smile at you. I am smiling actually, but I guess you don't know it. Not only are masks unnecessary and ineffective, but also harmful to our kids. Lockdowns and segregating businesses and workers as essential and non-essential have depressed our local economy, destroyed individual and family livelihoods, and increased our dependence upon government subsidies. Corruption and greed have prevailed in public and private sectors, all at the taxpayer's expense. Hospitals and public health departments have been motivated to falsely falsify COVID cases and deaths to collect extra monies from state and federal governments. COVID test kits are unreliable and can be manipulated to give inflated numbers that support counterfactual measures. COVID shots do not stop the virus from circulating. They do not stop recipients from getting the virus, and do not ensure the recipients get a lighter case. Although natural immunity is best, it has been largely ignored by the medical establishment and health-related government organizations. Also largely ignored have been the credible and beneficial protocols one can use to diminish and perhaps nullify the risk of COVID. I realize some of what I've shared is beyond the district's scope of influence. I mention them because the district needs to see that by canceling parent and stakeholder choice and imposing a mask mandate, it is aligning itself with organizations that do not seek the well-being of our students, staff, families, and community. In closing, a true demonstration of valuing stakeholders and making them worthy of our time and investment is to respect parent choice.
30 seconds.
Especially with regard to medical devices and procedures. By the way, thank you. And by the way, even Fauci told us that masks don't work. Thank you.
I thank you, Mr. Lutz. Be safe this evening. Ms. Kathy Lutz, how are you this evening? Fine, thank you. All right. You'll start by stating your name and then stating your address, and then your 3 minutes will begin.
Okay. Yes, my name is Kathy Lutz. My address is 1209 Antrim Loop, Colorado Springs, 80910. Okay. Good evening, board members, Superintendent Burhanzel, and administrative staff, teachers, parents, and community of Harrison District 2. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself before I get into my issue is with the Board of Education's meeting minutes. I've had a lot of difficulty accessing them. First of all, I want to tell you I'm a retired registered nurse. I worked in the nursing field for 20 years. I worked in school health, emergency, pediatrics, and also nurse aid education. I have a master's degree in library and information science and also worked for 5 years in that field. Okay, I have 3 adult children who all attended public schools. I really love children. In fact, I enjoy them much more so than most adults. So most of the children in my neighborhood go to D2 schools. Since retiring, my husband and I felt called to be involved in public service, and we felt like it's our civic duty. We're interested in better understanding the needs of District 2. However, I've spent a considerable amount of time on the website, and I have a lot of computer experience. I wanted to learn about the school and the district and the children and the teachers and everything. But I wanted to find out what issues or matters of concern have been the topics of discussion by the Board of Education for the last couple years. I had sent emails to both the board secretary and the board members, and they sent me links to the main Harrison School District website, okay? So I did get a response, which was nice, and I was told the minutes are on the website. However, neither myself nor my husband could find them. Today, finally, a friend of mine was able to locate the minutes for us after much searching. It took 9 levels of clicks, going from one site to the next, to the next, to the next, to reach the minutes. And unfortunately, the minutes were from 2019 and before. So there aren't any minutes. There aren't any minutes from 2020 or 2021. Okay, and the minutes were under board docs. They're not under meetings and minutes. So that's confusing to the public and parents that want to look at them. In order to make the goings-on of the Board of Education more accessible and transparent to parents and the community, I respectfully ask for the webmaster to update the meeting from the 2019 to the present on the website. Yes?
Time is up.
Okay,
Mrs. Lutz, I thank you for bringing that to our attention.
okay, great. Thank you.
You be safe this evening, and have a good night. Next is Miss Diane Bean. How are you, Miss Bean?
Doing great.
All right.
Diane Bean, 2800 Parker Street. I am not in District 2, but Constitution Day has nothing to do with districts. Just wanted to remind you all that tomorrow is Constitutional Day, and I am expecting that you all are doing something with the Constitution. I did bring an 1828 Elementary Catechism of the Constitution of the United States that's rather interesting with questions and answers. I'd just like to read a little bit of that. Question, who executes the laws which Congress have made? That is, who takes care that everybody should obey the laws? Answer, the President of the United States. Question, can he make the law? Answer, not at all. These two powers of making law, executing law, are kept by the Constitution entirely separate. The power that makes the law cannot execute it, and the power that executes the law cannot make it. The one of these powers is called the legislative, and the other is called the executive power. And previously it dealt with the judicial power, which is only to decide on constitutionality of a law that has been passed. It does not have the legality of making law. Then, just real quick, the amendments to the Constitution. Now, the 1828 is missing a lot of the amendments since they were done way later. But this is a very important one, the Amendment 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech, of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. So the question is, what is the subject of the First Amendment? Answer, the subject of religious freedom. Question, what do you mean by that? Answer, I mean the right every man has to worship God in such way as he thinks fit without being called to account for his opinions or punished for them. Question, is this a sacred right which ought to be guarded with the greatest care? Answer, certainly. God alone is the judge of our religious belief and service, and no man has a right to interfere with it so long as it does not lead us to injury or disturb our neighbor. A great part of the misery and oppression which has existed in the world began with forcing men to do what their conscience disapproved. And I will just leave you with that, but if you would like, I could leave this copy of the Constitution for your review, and I thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bean, for your time.
Thank you.
I wish you well and be safe this evening. All right, we will move along to item number 7, communicating with the board. OE9, the superintendent shall assure that the board is fully and adequately informed about matters relating to board work and significant district concerns. Item 7.1, strategic plan. Year 1 action plan and program updates. Ms. Laufer. How are you doing this evening?
I am good. How about all of you?
Doing well, thank you.
So I know my name is attached, but this is actually a collaborative presentation for you. So last we spoke about the strategic plan was back in the spring when we launched our new 3-year strategic plan and shared with you the new priorities of classroom, culture, and community. So today what we wanted to do was to give you an update on year 1's action plan and then several new updates and programs that we have put in place since launching the strategic plan back in the spring. So what you see in front of you, you have the full 6-page document. We're not going to scroll through it, but this is what we have shared with our staff and published it for the community. The last 2 weeks, executive team has hosted a series of cookies and conversations with each school. We only have 2 schools left. Tomorrow is Panorama and Carmel. In those conversations, it's been a chance for just us to engage with staff around the actions we're taking to bring this plan to life. We also wanted you to know that we do have a monitoring system in place for this action plan. So we've gone through each of the actions and we've highlighted either departments or committees that we feel like are the ones kind of leading the work, even though each item really involves the work of every single staff member, students, and community in the district. But we wanted kind of a single entity for each one to just make sure they're keeping us on track with following through with what we committed to do. And then quarterly, all of those individuals, either department heads, DAC is responsible for a couple of them, and we have our first DAC meeting on Monday, and other groups such as the Superintendent's Advisory Council, they will then report out to executive team once per quarter about progress on all of these actions. We have also set goals in this document, so within the 6 pages, what you'll see is 1 page for classroom, and then the goals for classroom, 1 page of the actions per culture, and then the goals for culture. So that's the way that we are measuring our progress throughout the year. So just wanted you to have that document and know kind of what we're doing to move forward throughout this year. But now we're going to switch over to a PowerPoint because there are several new programs. So I think back to January when I presented with all of you around this idea of a new online school. And so we wanted to bring you updates, not just about that component, but all of the things since launching the strategic plan that are now in place, or some major changes we have seen in the past 6 to 8 months. So we have some exciting things to share with you. So the first one is going to be around Aspire. If you haven't had a chance to go and see Aspire in action, when you do, please stop by. Remember, it's hosted at 2 locations. Half of them are at Centennial, half are at Pikes Peak. A few pictures for you. I do have a scribbled Post-it here because I have updated numbers. This was put together a week or 2 ago for you. As of today, we have 142 students enrolled in Aspire Online.
Yes.
We are very excited about that. Plus a conversation we had with you back in January was thinking about both students in district and students out of district that might be interested in this opportunity. Of those 142, 15% of those students live out of district, but 20% of them are new to us this year. So 20% are not students that were already enrolled in D2 schools last year. They sought out and came to our district because of Aspire. So that's exciting to hear. Just a few pictures. Keep in mind we took these before the mask mandate, so that's why teachers are teaching without masks. But we also put fun pictures in here. So you see Dr. Bert Hensel and you see Ms. Talia Young, the principal, sitting in a warm, inviting environment. I thought that picture was powerful because even though it's an online school, they have an environment where families are welcome to come in, interact one-on-one in small groups. And so if you get to go see it, it is not the e-learning that we all experienced last year. It is a fully operational online school. That's just amazing to see in action. Now I'm going to bring up two ladies. So you may or may not have met Masako Kikuchi and Angie Outlaw. Both of them have been employed in our district for many years. They are both employees in our Research Data and Accountability Department. But what they're here to share with you about really doesn't fit into the Research Data and Accountability. Both of them have stepped up and taken on additional duties to bring some new programs to life that are part of our strategic plan around community and culture. So Masako is going to share with you about Adult Ed.
Thank you for this opportunity to present to the board this evening. I am proud to share about the D2 Adult and Family Programs Adult Education Program. Our program is comprised of our community partners, Pikes Peak Library District Adult Education Program, and Pikes Peak United Way, and our robust, talented D2 Adult Education team. So Angie Outlaw and I are co-program managers, and we have 3 adult education instructors, Amy Albright, Stephen Blackmore, and Cheryl Rhodes-Lewis. We have 1 career navigator, Kimberly Reed Harbour. She provides wraparound services to learners. And from Research Data and Accountability Department, we have Hannah Estep, who is Literacy Adult Community Education System Data Coordinator. And from Student Support Department, we have Dennis Gilbert, who provides support with Infinite Campus database. From Special Department, we have Debbie Davidson, who is Accessible Design Coordinators. In addition to our D2 Adult Education team, we have many people who provide strong support behind the scenes. So Technology Department provided many Chromebooks and also provided assessment support. And Human Resources help with all staffing. And the Finance provides financial support or fiscal support to us. And CLDE program provides referrals of families who need this program. And Student Support made it possible for learners to have badges to wear in the school and also provides Spanish translation. And Security Department provided safety consultation, cameras, and training for staff. And Pikes Peak Elementary School administration team and facilities helped us with adequately plan for the use of the space. And lastly, Community Department, Communication Department helped with getting word out using Facebook and also place orientation sign-up form on the district website. And at this point, we have 69 learners enrolled. We are holding new orientation sessions monthly, so we have 8 additional learners starting next week. And 96% of learners represent communities of color. They are from 12 different countries and speak 8 languages, and 86% speak Spanish. And 88% of learners are female, and 57% are unemployed. And we currently offer adult basic education and English as a second language classes. There are 8 classes, and learners come twice a week for 2-hour sessions, Tuesday and Thursday, or Wednesday and Friday. Okay, let me introduce Angie Outlaw, our co-program manager.
Thank you, Dr. Kikuchi. Good evening. Thank you so much. I am so excited to share with you just a vision of some of the learners, the adult learners that are sitting in the classrooms this week, just to show you what you would expect. If you happen to find yourself, and I would encourage you to do so, on a Tuesday through Friday from any time, from 8 a.m. until 5:30, 5 p.m. at any one of the 8 classes that Dr. Kikuchi just shared about, you'll see learners like the ones I'm going to describe. We have a young mother, a mother of 3. She was a Harrison High School graduate, she was a Harrison High School student. Got pregnant in her freshman year, is now just over 20 years old, pregnant with her 3rd child. She tried 9th grade twice, didn't quite make it either time, and dropped out. Her mother has custody of her children, and she, our student, our learner, is very excited about getting her GED and proceeding on to do things right this time, is her quote. She defines doing things right as investing in herself. She literally cried at orientation upstairs. When she came for orientation, she literally cried. Now, maybe it was the emotion of the pregnancy, not quite sure, but what we do know is that we're providing hope for a number of learners. Another student that we have is a well-educated bachelor's degree in her home country of Spain. She was a business administration major, and she currently cleans toilets for a living here in the United States. She's thrilled about her job. She makes a decent income for herself, she says, but the possibilities are endless for where she can go with this program. So I want to share with you just a vision of where we might be going next. So when Dr. Kikuchi approached me about 6 months ago with the idea that she might be interested in applying for the grant that helped to support the first level of work of this program, I glanced at the grant and the many documents that would go into standing up a program such as this. Dr. Burhansel, sharing her strategic plan with us just around the same time, we saw that 2 years from that point, the GED would be was in the strategic plan. So we knew that the time would be coming for that. And what Dr. Kikuchi shared with me is that her vision is that, yes, supporting the GED is absolutely the right thing to do. We're 100% in support of that. But how do we prepare learners to be ready for that? And it starts with the numeracy and literacy of the adult basic education program. So that's what this first level of work is. Since then, we have embarked on writing numerous other grants to support the future work of the GED. We are looking to start GED testing, testing and teaching GED prep in the coming months. We're also looking at, we've just secured a grant with the United Way, adding in the workforce partnership. We recognize that our adult learners who are not fluent or even conversationally fluent, regardless of their education in their home country, struggle when trying to find a job here that is aligned with their background. They have a strong desire to provide for their families. Many of our students have a goal for learning to speak, listen, read, and write English so that they can participate within their children or their grandchildren's education here within our district. So we recognize that the workforce development piece with the United Way, we're doing the work now that will help prepare those students to embark on that as well. So we thank you so much for this opportunity and for giving. This district is just amazing. Having spent over a decade as a teacher in a classroom at Pikes Peak Elementary and now seeing it kind of full circle, it's very exciting, and I could not be more proud of what's happening in the district at this time. So thank you for your leadership, and thank you for this evening as well. You want me to stay? Or? Okay, so now I'm going to switch hats. So that's the adult education program. Another program that I'm super excited about as well is the before and after school program. So the before and after school program has 4 major partners. It is really exciting. It's also tied directly to the strategic plan. I was a little nervous when Christine O'Brien reached out to me and asked if I would help her think through some of her ideas on this project about 8 months ago. And since then, it's really just become one of the most exhilarating pieces of work that I've been involved with. The 4 partners that we have selected for our program have been partners for a number of years. In fact, Early Connections Learning Center has been serving students at Sand Creek Elementary for nearly 2 decades on a parent pay, private pay program. The City of Colorado Springs, Deerfield Hills, and Meadows Park have also provided support, largely offset by the city funds, for mostly after school and 1 session of before school programs at Terman Elementary and Meadows Park Community Center. The YMCA has attempted and has had several opportunities and has done a great job, but it's been private pay, and as we are very aware, private pay is very expensive. Quality education at an affordable cost is a need across our country. At the beginning of this work, we did a needs assessment to determine what type of support our parents may need. What were they currently paying for child care? And quite frankly, who was providing the child care? A licensed quality provider, or more of a student or an older child taking care of the younger siblings, which would in fact result in the older child maybe not having the opportunity to embark on their own homework or doing some of the things that they need. So when we did that, we had an enormous response. In fact, it was very surprising that within 2 weeks, we had almost 500 respondents say that 99% of them, literally 99%, were interested in a program like this for themselves. That was exciting. And then looking at the overall, knowing that we were looking to make this a free program for them, we wanted to make sure we could do that at making it fiscally responsible. How can we provide this without this additional funding, like without any additional, making a huge cost on the district? So that's where our partners helped us to brainstorm, and looking at the team that we have here as well. I am the program manager for the before and after school program. Jeff Clemens has been amazing. The facilities are all licensed, so all 15 facilities are licensed through the state of Colorado, which includes having the correct number of coat hooks on the walls for the students, and everything you can imagine, the temperature of the water and everything that goes into the licensing. Amy Lloyd in the special education, as the special education director, has helped to provide de-escalation training for our partners and their staff so that we can support the students in that environment. And Angie Stevenson as the nutrition. We serve breakfast on Mondays to each student. And then every day of the week through this program, we have a free, healthy, nutritious snack that they can enjoy as well. So our partnerships provide safe and free care for the children so that the families can return to the workforce or look for work. Also, it can provide that respite care for the parent who just needs a break. So it's very exciting to see that our parents are taking advantage of this. We have 1,012 students currently enrolled in this program. The cost, like I said, is free to the parents. However, we are going through the Colorado Child Care Assistance Program, which is called CCAP. And right now, all of our licensed facilities are approved as providers through CCAP. And so we are able to utilize the funds from the El Paso County to offset, so the district only pays the copay that would normally be paid by a parent. In some cases, that copay is as little as $10 a month instead of the $300 per student per month. So it's a huge, huge savings to our district. 84 new jobs have been created through this program. I have an exciting story to share, and we just shared about the adult education program. So we had a student who is a Sierra High School student, very bright young lady. She brought her mom here for the English classes to sign up and do registration for English class. Our Sierra High School student is a student during the day mostly at Pikes Peak Community College. She wants to be a nurse. She wants to work with children, she mentioned. So of course, my eyes, really, you want to work with children? Tell me more. So she did. She said, yes, and someday I want to be a nurse and I want to work with kids. And I said, what are you doing now? Tell me about it. Well, I've been looking for a job. As it turns out, she did leave with a job. She is now working at Giverson Elementary in the after-school program, where she had been walking her younger sister to school every day and picking her up at the after-school program. The exciting thing about that is she is representing one of the 84 jobs, new jobs that we have created. Our ratios are 1 to 10 preferred. The state requires 1 to 15, so 1 staff member to no more than 15 students, which represents the 84 jobs. Like I said, they are all licensed by the state, the Colorado Department of Human Services, and the activities that they have there are quality. Very excited to say that the expertise that our partners have brought to this opportunity for our district has really been changing the lives of the students and their parents. So we have some very excited parents who know that they can bring their children and they'll be taken care of and have that balance of activity, physical activity, in a structured environment, and be safe after school. The first day when we launched on the very first day of school, and I was at Monterey Elementary, and I know you heard from Monterey this evening. When I was at Monterey, I happened to be there with the very first parent who came. She was in her active duty Army military uniform, and she was there with a friend, and they were dropping off their daughter. And she said, bye, Mommy, I'll see you on Monday. And this was the Tuesday, the first day of school. And so I took their picture and I sent it to them, and they were very excited. But I asked her, so where would she have been this morning if she wasn't here? She says, well, I wouldn't have been able to say goodbye because I have to go before she would be here when the school would open. And so then she, in her active duty Army uniform, began to get teared up and say thank you for this opportunity that she was able to say goodbye to her daughter before she went out to the field. So Board of Education of Harrison School District 2, thank you for this opportunity, for what you're doing for kids right here in our community. Thank you so much.
So we're going to keep the theme with Angie Outlaw because she's done incredible work with our district. She actually, with Jenica Mabe, applied for the School Counselor Corps Grant, which is a 4-year grant. And it'll provide 1 high school counselor at each, 2 high school counselors, 1 at each of our high schools. And so the beauty of this Counselor Corps Grant is we've had it in the past before, and we have leadership at the schools. And so if you look to the right there, Jenica Mabe is the counseling coordinator, Angie Outlaw helped write the grant. We have Mr. Vargas, who's the principal over at Harrison High School. We have a counselor, we have a teacher. The same with Sierra High School. We have an administrator in Hannah Dykeman, and then we have a counselor and a teacher as well. And the purpose of that JPEG that you see, that picture, when you look at the statistic there, it talks about post-secondary gaps greater than 30% exist by race and ethnicity, and gaps between 14 and 23% exist by social economic status. Now, the reason we have it blank is because you could probably picture an individual student who fits those categories. And through the Counselor Corps Grant, what we want to be able to do is reduce that gap, if not eliminate it. As I mentioned previously, the Counselor Corps Grant is a 4-year grant. It's going to place a college and career counselor at each high school. It'll provide some framework for the ICAP, and I know we're full of educational jargon, so the ICAP is the individual career and academic plan that students have to complete. We used to do it at 5th grade, and the state of Colorado changed it, and so it was only available for students that were 13 and older, and so we're creating a platform for all of our students from 6th to 12th grade to be able to participate in the ICAP. The goal is to raise graduation rates in HSD2 males. Now, you're probably wondering, we have great graduation rates already. Our graduation rate at the high schools is over 82%. However, what we're noticing that there is a huge gap, and when I say huge, it's almost in double digits, the gap between our female students graduating and our male students. And so we want to be able to boost that number of males graduating from high school. And so our females are knocking it out of the park. They are actually at 87% graduation rate for our high schools, and so our males are a little below that. And so we need to bring them up so that way there can be some equity there. We're going to sustain part of the work that these Counselor Corps Grants are going to, counselors are going to do at the schools is sustain the graduation rates through the implementation of the menus competency. And so back in 2019, Colorado came out with the menu of college and career readiness demonstrations, and so there are options for our students. It was delayed because of COVID, and what we're doing now is we want to make sure that these counselors at the schools can maintain the graduation rates that we currently have based on the new options, menu of options for our students. We want to increase our post-secondary placement, and we want to increase the number of students who apply for scholarships. Now, there's a caveat to that. We have students applying for scholarships all the time. What we want to be able to do is show them how to access and resource more of those scholarships. We have the Sachs Foundation, for example, wanting our students to apply for their scholarships, but some of our students don't have the ability to write well and communicate the thoughts. And so that's part of what the Counselor Corps is going to be doing to help our students get more scholarships to help pave the way for them through their college degree. The last piece that I want to talk about is teacher retention and recruitment. And this is just amazing. And the reason I say it's amazing, I've been in this district 15 years. Our retention rate has never been over 70%. We've hit the 50s, we've hit the 60s, we've hit the 70s. But we're now at 82.51% in our teachers.
Yeah, that's big.
85.9% in our SSPs, and our ESP is 87.89%. Here's a statistic that I want everyone to think about. In 2017, when we started 2017, 268 licensed staff left our district, 268. Last year, 110 left our district. That's almost 59% decrease in the number of teachers leaving our district. So kudos to the board, kudos to the superintendent, kudos to the principals who are out there for changing the culture in our district and making sure that our teachers and our staff feel valued and a place that they want to come to work. We also have been focusing on the teacher cadet program. We currently have 4 students, 4 candidates that are working through the process with Woody Longmire. The beauty of that is that those 4 students, if they commit to giving us 3 years back, once they graduate from a teacher prep program, they will essentially be debt-free. And that's the biggest obstacle for many teachers of color to go through their university and then take a teaching job because they have to pay so much of that student loan back in a quick fashion. And then finally, we have the staff to teacher career path. We have 3 staff members who are enrolled in Pikes Peak BOCES. We know that our ESP are our most diverse workforce, and so the beauty of the 3 that are in, 2 are people of color. So 2/3 of our folks who are going through are teachers of color, will be our teachers of color, and they'll be giving back to our community 3 years.
So the common theme between those 5 program updates are that they are all really exciting things happening in Harrison, many of which have not been in place in our district before or not for a very long time, such as adult ed. We did have many, many years ago, but it's something we've been trying to bring back. So it's only been 6 months since we launched a strategic plan, but we wanted to just share 5 of the things that are already in place. There's another 15 or 20 we could share, but we would have been here for hours. So we will keep you updated, but thank you for your support with this new strategic plan. We are excited about the work ahead. Any questions for us?
I have no questions, but one big comment. Thank you, Ms. Lawfer, Dr. Kikuchi, Ms. Outlaw, Dr. Claudio, Ms. Tunson, and Ms. Dahl. Because last year, this was just an idea. And that strategic plan that we're talking about, the classroom, the culture, the community, we're building a much stronger community right now and getting people into the classroom. And that culture, like Ms. Tunson was presenting to us, where we're getting those kids ready to focus, and you see their parents, their relatives, their neighbors are trying to get a piece of that classroom piece that we have here. And it just goes to show that when you plan it right, it works. And we're seeing the success of that. And hey, that's investing in self. That teacher, that now employee of ours from Sierra High School, that's the investment that we're talking about. That's the culture, that's the community working, and we're seeing the fruition of that. I'm just proud of Harrison We Are Harrison. That's beautiful. All of that. I'm glad to see the kids back, and they're showing us that they're going to be one of those oh, there we go. We moved it. One of those mission-ready students that just giving back is beautiful. Mr. Siebert, Ms. Pugh, if you have anything, I could run on because y'all know me, I'll get emotional.
I'm not sure I could add to that. It's very exciting. It's wonderful stuff, and you said it very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would have to say the exact same thing. How could I anything to that? It's been 8 long years, and I love where we're at.
Thank you again, Ms. Lawford.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item number 7, Superintendent Consent Agenda. GC 2.6, the board will use a consent agenda as a means to expedite the disposition of routine matters and dispose of other items of business it chooses not to discuss. And we have a long laundry list this evening, ladies and gentlemen, because we didn't have a meeting last month. And so we'll be picking up a few items from the month of August as well. Moving on to item number 8.1, July-August personnel and comparison reports. Dr. Claudio, once more.
So the board received the information regarding the month-to-month comparison. I'm getting it right now, if you give me 1 second. What you'll notice is, as far as our ESP for the month-to-month comparison, we had 0 gain, 0 loss for our ESP, for our licensed staff. But we also saw a 33% decrease in ESP resignations from the year before. And so again, we're starting to keep that trend. We're keeping our staff, which is what we want. And then there were 0 admin resignations, but we will be, there are 2 that just came up, and that'll be added in next month.
Very nice. All right, item 8.2, September, you can roll on into that one as well.
Yes, so they're all combined because we did not have the meeting in last
month,
regular meeting.
August?
Yes,
Mhm.
correct.
Okay.
So they're all the same. It's all wrapped up in there.
Thank you, sir. Item 8.2, May financial statement, Ms. Shelley Becker.
She's not here.
And
She's
she is-
teaching a class in Breckenridge, I think.
She is leading the forefront of finance for Colorado schools right now. We are proud of Ms. Shelley Becker and wish her well where she is right now. 8.4 was one of her items also. Moving on to 8.5, I would just need a motion.
I move to approve the superintendent consent agenda items as presented.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Siebert, second by Mrs. Pugh. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion moves forward. Item number 9, board consent agenda. GC 2.6, the board will use consent agenda items as a means to expedite the disposition of routine matters and dispose of other items of business it chooses not to discuss. Item 9.1, approval of minutes for the work session. Item 9.2, approval of minutes for, the work session of June 3rd, 2021. 9.2, approval of minutes work session August 5th, 2021. 9.3, OE5 learning environment and treatment of students. The monitoring report, Dr. Claudio.
We already talked about this.
Item 9.4, OE6 financial planning report. Item 9.5, OE8 asset protection indicator report. Item 9.6, OE12 student discipline indicator report. Item 9.7, monitoring report, financial administration. Item 9.8, OE5, learning environment and treatment of students. Item 9.9, OE6, indicator report. And just to let you all know, there has been work done on all of those items. We are just moving through the process of approving them. And had you been here for that meeting, you probably wouldn't be with us right now. You'd probably be snoozing. So all I would need is a motion.
I move to approve the board consent agenda items as stated.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Pugh, second by Mr. Siebert. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Motion moves forward. Moving on to item number 10, monitoring board performance. GC 2.2, the board is responsible for its own performance and commits itself to continuous improvement. The board will assure that its members have the knowledge, skills, and budget support it determines to be necessary for effective governance. 10.1, annual work plan. Do we have any changes to the annual work plan?
I don't think so.
I think we pretty much made everything concrete.
I think so.
Changes, yep. All right, we will move on to item number 10.2, any legislative updates?
No, sir.
All right, the item number we're waiting for, number 11. I would just need a motion.
With no further business, I would move to adjourn.
I second.
Motion by Mr. Siebert, second by Mrs. Pugh. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Our meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for coming out to see us this evening. Please be safe on your ways home.